Okay. Let me hold it a little bit further away. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Welcome to this great event to honor our Congresswoman. Great turnout. Thank you all for coming out on this cold, chilly morning and braving the elements. My name is Steve Bolger. I'm the Saratoga County Administrator. It's a great honor for me to be up here as your MC today, and we have a pretty packed program, so we're going to get into it right away. First thing I'd like to do is to invite Sheriff Mike Zerlo to the forefront to lead us all in the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you, Sheriff, and also thank you to you and your team for all the security you're providing today. Deeply appreciated. Before we get our speakers going, there is a couple thank yous we'd like to do. First is I'd like to recognize Chief Sean Dooley and the Quaker Springs Fire Department for hosting us today. They've done a great job. Thank you, Chief. Thank you, Chief. They've been great to work with. We deeply appreciate it, and especially because it's right here in the Congresswoman's hometown. That's what makes it so special. So thank you. We also have a lot of honored guests here today, both former and current elected officials, political party leaders, and other leaders from our community, from the business and nonprofit world. There's really too many to go through because our schedule is so tight. So on behalf of the organizing team, thank you to all of our honorary guests for showing up today, and we just appreciate you being here, so thank you. So, our first speaker this morning is someone who has been a great supporter and friend to the Congresswoman over the years. She is now rising in leadership in the Republican Party at the New York State Assembly. I'd like to welcome Assemblywoman Mary Beth Walsh.
Wow, oh my gosh, if you could see what I can see, this is amazing. What a beautiful snowy drive it was to come here this morning. I think we're finally getting a real winter for a change, and what a beautiful place I've got the privilege to represent along with the Congresswoman, and I'm honored to be able to just offer just a couple of words, just a couple of thoughts really, as Elise goes to become the UN ambassador coming right out of our area. It's such an incredibly proud moment for all of us who have gotten to know Elise. I got to know Elise came in 2014. I came in shortly after in 2016, and whether it was the Saratoga County Fair, all of the visioning sessions we did with first responders or veterans, all the pancake breakfasts, the rallies, I really feel that whenever I got a chance to connect with Elise and her very, very busy schedule, there is an immediate, genuine, real connection that I'm honored to have and to have had with Elise. One thing that you might not know, which is especially near and dear to my heart, is that Elise wasn't just trying to elevate herself. She has elevated other women with her, and that has meant a great deal to me. She started a PAC back in 2018. The Elevate PAC, EPAC. I always thought the E stood for Elise, but it's Elevate. And back in 2020, 18 out of the 30 people, the women that the PAC supported, got elected. So she has done a great deal that we don't even know about around here. Yeah, to elevate women and to really change the face of what the Republican conference looks like in the House. So I'm very, very honored to be here to just say what I think all of us really want to say to Elise, which is thank you. Thank you for representing us in upstate. And thank you for doing the hard work that it really takes to be a representative in this climate. You know, I look sometimes at Twitter or X or whatever they call it right now, and sometimes when I look at Elise's feed, I wince a little bit to see how nasty some of these people are, and the way that they talk about her. That's not the person that I know, it's not the person that you know. I am so, so proud of Elise Stefanik, and I know that she's going to make us proud now that she's really entering the world stage on behalf of our nation. And Elise, thank you. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Mary Beth. Our next speaker is really someone who doesn't need an introduction. He has been on the stage here for a long time, representing different parts in both the Assembly and the Senate down in Albany. He is a real leader. He is a fighter for all of us, and he is a stalwart supporter of the Congresswoman, Senator Jim Tedesco.
Well, nobody can say that the Congresswoman can't draw a crowd, can they? Everywhere she goes. And Congresswoman, when I drove in today, I think I was on time. Might have been a little bit late. I saw all these cars, and I'm saying to myself, we got done with an election. I got to start all over again. I could have got the parking concession out there if I got here early. I'm honored, though, to be here, to join all of you, as Mary Beth said, in saluting this wonderful public servant. We're so appreciative for the service you have provided over the years. And I was thinking when I was driving in, there's got to be somebody who's going to follow in her footsteps, okay? And I know you're going to do everything you can to make sure the right person does. And the right person is going to be a Republican, conservative individual, and you're going to be working hard. But I think at one point there were 10 or 11 individuals who were working to get the endorsement for your position. And I'm thinking to myself, we shouldn't have one of them who gets elected. You would probably need 10 or 11 individuals to do the work you did over the history of your service to this area. Now, you probably don't know where she got her start and got her most important lesson in terms of campaigning and becoming a public servant, the unbelievable public servant she is. I was a part of that. Now, I don't know if I was the first one to be a part of that. In 2009, there was a congressional race I was involved with, and she was a volunteer intern in that race. And Elise, you learned the most important lesson, and that was how not to run a congressional race in New York City. And how not to let Washington tell you how you're going to serve the people of your community. And you're standing here because she didn't listen to Washington. She listened to you. And that's what a public servant does. They don't go there, sit there, and vote the way they or their friends or their families think. They know they take an oath of office, and she knows that better than anybody. Now, in closing, I want to say this. Some of you will probably think, well, she's got one of the best jobs in the world. Ambassador to the United Nations. Served here locally, a great state, served the nation, serving the world now. So she'll go out there, she'll put in 10, 15, 20 years there and maybe do something else. Look, one day can turn 4 years. That's how fast 4 years go by. We have a great president of the United States in Donald Trump. Do you agree? Nobody can follow in his foot. Listen, in 4 more years, I got a feeling you and I, that Congresswoman and now the Ambassador of the United States, is going to make history once again. The first Republican conservative woman in the Oval Office. There she is. Congratulations.
Awesome, Senator, awesome. And we share your thoughts on that, absolutely. Our final speaker is someone who is very well known in these parts and a great public servant. He's been doing it for a long time. He has been an early and strong supporter of Elise. Washington County District Attorney Tony Jordan.
But yet I still always have to go after Jim Tedisco. When I was first asked if I would be willing to say a few words, I wasn't really sure I was worthy of the honor to recognize someone as significant in my life as you. And so from Wendy's and my heart, we really appreciate this opportunity. And a dear friend of mine and yours sends his best regards from Tennessee, says you will always be his Congresswoman, but more importantly, we lose a wonderful representative, but the nation gains a voice in the world that will make a difference for all of us. So from Mike Biddle and his family, they say more regards, Godspeed, and do a great job. I met Elise early on, and we were at a very small gathering, which is hard to believe that ever existed in her campaigns. And she said, you know, all I can promise is I will work hard, I will represent and listen to you all, and I will make a difference. And I think everyone here will say you did that, and that in spades. And really, to have someone who lives up to what they say and then exceeds it every day is such a rarity and just such a blessing for all of us. I've been really struggling to figure out how do I encapsulate how I feel and what she's meant to all of us. And it really came down to two things. I have 3 girls, and it's not, I can't leave them out, but I have 3 daughters. And you know, as a parent, you always say, who's a role model that would be appropriate? And if my daughters in their lives can make a difference like you have in all of ours, then I would feel like we've accomplished something as parents. So thank you for giving us that. And really in closing, I think, you know, what the world sees is a powerful, intelligent, hardworking advocate who will grill you on the stand professionally, pointedly, and they see that, and the people that have to experience it feel it. And that is something that the world sees, and people will try to define that however they want. And if they define it any other than just a passionate representative, then they would be wrong. But what we get to see is the other side, and the rarity in public service is someone who shows up at events and is truly present, but is truly present. And so the only example I can give that best describes Washington County and Elise's impact on Washington County is at the Washington County Fair, we have a milking contest every Friday. And in off years, not everybody shows up. In on years, meaning elections years, everyone's there. I'm not sure Elise has ever missed one. But what the world does not get to see is the sparkle in her eyes and the emotion in the little dairy princess ambassadors when they take part in the milking contest with Elise. You would think Elise had come from Gettyview Farms and was working that day and came in to visit with these girls to show them how to milk a cow. And the difference that makes, and if you could see these little girls' faces and just the smiles that Elise brings out of them, that is what I will always remember, and I think the world ought to see that as well. So thank you for what you've done for us, and continue to make it.
Thank you, Tony. So, before we bring up the guest of honor to address everyone, your staff has prepared a little surprise for you. And I would ask everybody to focus on the screens and roll the video.
My name is Elise Stefanik. I'm proud to say I was born and raised in upstate New York. I've seen firsthand how insiders in Washington have forgotten to fight for average small businesses like ours on Main Street. I want to change that, because we deserve results.
Elise. Elise, how
How's Elise doing, right?
A Republican from Northern New York, the youngest woman ever to serve in Congress.
Elise Stefanik, the #3 leader in the House.
One of the former president's most loyal supporters.
What a job she's done. Thank you, Elise.
Thank God there are people out there like Elise Stefanik who doesn't just moan about things on Twitter.
Representing Fort Drum in upstate New York, Stefanik is a member of the House Intelligence and Armed Services Committee.
I rise today in strong support of the conference report for the National Defense Authorization Act.
Stefanik won her swing district by 22 points, and last year was re-elected by 35 points.
Everyone knows upstate New York and the North Country is Elise country.
Congresswoman Elise Stefanik securing a 4th term in office, winning by nearly double over her Democratic challenger.
Elise Stefanik, a name becoming more nationally recognized.
He is a superstar.
Congresswoman who Adam Schiff could not silence.
This is the 5th time you have interrupted members of Congress, newly elected members of Congress.
House GOP Conference Chair Elise Stefanik is announcing a probe aimed at holding school administrators accountable.
Let me give you one more opportunity. Does calling for the genocide of Jews violate Penn's code of conduct when it comes to bullying and harassment? Yes or no?
The Grand Old Wharton School of Finance.
With 69 days to go, Donald Trump tapped New York Congresswoman Elise Stefanik to be U.S. ambassador to the United Nations.
It has never been more critical for the United States to lead with strength and moral clarity. I share President Trump's vision of a UN reformed by strong America First Peace Through Strength and return to this founding mission of promoting peace and security around the world. In closing, I will forever be grateful to my constituents in New York's 21st District. 10 years ago, upstate and North Country voters took a chance on a young, first-time, unknown candidate, and I commit to the American people that I will work my very hardest in the coming years to lead with moral clarity and American values.
Whether it's standing up for election integrity, whether it's defeating Liz Cheney to unify the Republican Party, are we ready to make America great again?
Our 21st Congressional District Representative and United Nations Ambassador-designate, Elise Stefanik.
Thank you. Wow. Thank you so much, Steve, for that kind introduction. Thank you to the Quaker Springs Fire Department for this amazing event and all of the work that went into this. I have to say, I am truly overwhelmed by this unbelievable outpouring of love and support as we begin to close this incredible chapter and embark on a new one. And I look around this room, it's going to be hard for me to get through this without crying. I see so many faces of amazing people and dear friends who have just been a part of this journey with me for the past 10 years. It is hard to believe that 10 years ago, 10 years ago, upstate New York and North Country voters took a chance on a young, first-time, totally unknown candidate when, at the wise old age of 28, I announced that I was running for Congress. Back then, as we remember, the media didn't take us seriously, the editorial pages ridiculed us, the political pundits said we couldn't win a primary or general election, and my first primary and general election opponents have attacked us and tried to belittle the voters in this district. National Democrats tried everything to defeat us, and in 10 years, they spent over $100 million in our district to try to flip this seat. And over the past decade, more times than anyone can count, we have been counted down and out, with many saying that we were politically finished. But they underestimated us. We are upstate fighters, and the world knows that, this country knows that, and I'm forever grateful for your support. known who I was running to represent and why I was running. To bring new ideas, a new generation of leadership, and real results for we the people. To work my very hardest to give our district a voice at the absolute highest levels of government, and to never apologize for doing just that. And today I am here to thank all of you, we the people, for giving me the honor of a lifetime to serve as your voice in Congress. I'm humbled to have made history as the youngest woman ever elected to Congress at the time, to serve as the highest ranking woman in House elected leadership of either party, and this highest ranking New York Republican in Congress in over 100 years. But those in this room will never forget how this journey started. So many of you were a part of those early days when I would get in my car alone before I had any staff. Betty knows this, drive hours and hours in this large district, sometimes in snowstorms, to the most remote and rural places. You invited me into your homes, your businesses, your farms, your fire departments, your local events, and for that, I will forever be grateful. You welcomed me and allowed me to listen to your concerns, challenges, hopes, and dreams for a brighter future for our region, our country, and the next generation. And I'm so humbled to have had the opportunity to deliver results for you. The past 10 years have been an amazingly challenging experience with some good upstate fun along the way. Here are a few stats to look back at the hard work in this big, beautiful district. We traveled over 1 million miles over the past 10 years, participated in thousands of local events, county fairs, parades, fishing tournaments, briefings, meetings, community events, maple tapping, veterans roundtables, farm visits, and so much more. Over the 10 years, I'm proud to have delivered over $6 million in VA benefits for local veterans in our district, nearly $3.5 million in Social Security and Medicare benefits for our seniors, hundreds of millions for our local hospitals and community health centers. We responded to 500,000 constituent calls and letters, successfully closed 15,000 constituent cases, tens of millions of dollars for workforce development program, water, sewer, rural broadband, historic preservation, roadways, bridges, and more, and delivered a total of nearly $1 billion back to our district. And I want to take this moment to thank perhaps the most important people who helped lead to deliver these results every day. And that is my incredibly hardworking and dedicated district staff. Many of these staff members have been with me for over 10 years, starting with my amazing district director, Jonathan Carmen, who many of you know well, my deputy district director, Mary Jo, who has been with me since day one, and our teams in each of our district offices. Aaron Von Schnell, Joanne McCluskey, Alan Robinson, Josh Williams, Reed Cronus, Lauren Johns, Val Valent, and Sean Moore. And our campaign teams, Matt Gutman, Sean Chilson, the best voter data genius in America, Spencer Silverman, our jack of all trades, ultimate team player, Chris Zeller, my longtime chief of staff, Patrick Hester, who will be joining me at the United Nations, and the person who has put perhaps the most miles in the car, who you all know so well, Alex DeGrasse. Alex is widely recognized and beloved in our district, and he is also widely and wisely feared from many Democrat candidates and operatives, I should add. Thank you from the bottom of my heart to my staff for their decade of service. They have been selfless and dedicated to serving you, our constituents, 24/7, 365 days a year. And in the halls of Congress in Washington, because of your support, we are widely known as a legislative leader and a legislative workhorse. I'm proud to have earned recognition as one of the most effective Republicans and one of the most bipartisan in the entire House, while also maintaining our strong upstate conservative values. Not easy in today's political environment. We have led nationally on issues impacting upstate, ranging from small businesses and manufacturing to national security, intelligence reform, rural broadband, agriculture, particularly dairy, apples, and specialty crops, rural health care, constitutional protections, particularly the Second Amendment, conservation and battlefield conservation, especially right here in Saratoga County, K-12 and higher education, workforce development, forestry, cybersecurity, the Olympics, law enforcement, correctional officers issues, northern border, U.S.-Canadian trade, and government accountability and transparency. And as a senior member of the House Armed Services Committee and the House Intelligence Committees, we are recognized as the chief advocate for Fort Drum and the historic 10th Mountain Division. And because of your support, this community's support, we saved Fort Drum from devastating defense cuts and hosted President Trump to sign the National Defense Bill right here in New York's 21st Congressional District. One aspect of being a member of Congress that I'm not sure is widely understood, particularly by many in the press, is that you get to know your constituents so deeply when families are experiencing the highest of highs, a major career or family milestone, an award, a huge business accomplishment. But you also get to know your constituents at the lowest of lows, significant hardships, loss of a family member, unbelievably tragic circumstances. You get to know people on all the in-between as well. And I viewed it as my job as your member of Congress to humbly listen and try to support and advocate as best as I could. And I want you to know that from the highest of highs to the most challenging circumstances, I will truly take every conversation in my heart for the rest of my life. It shaped me into who I am today, serving you, and the type of leader I hope to continue to strive to be. You have all taught me so very much, and for that, I want to thank you. I was truly humbled when President Trump nominated me to serve in his cabinet as the U.S. ambassador to the United Nations. President Trump's historic landslide election has given hope to the American people and is a reminder that brighter days are ahead, and they're already here, both at home and abroad. America will continue to be the beacon of the world, and I stand ready to advance President Trump's restoration of America First, Peace Through Strength on the world stage. I'm grateful that last week the Senate committee passed my confirmation vote on a bipartisan basis, and I will continue to work to earn full Senate confirmation in the coming days or weeks. But I could not, and you know I would not leave without thanking those who matter most to me, my constituents and of course my family, starting with my dedicated parents and brother, to my encouraging husband Matt, and to our greatest blessing, our son Sam. Thank you to the people of this district for loving and embracing our son almost as one of your own. We have been comforted and so appreciative of your prayers and love from for our family through all the ups and downs of many years. I always tell my colleagues in Congress that upstate New York, and specifically our district, is a special, special place. My upbringing, my family, and who I am is so deeply rooted here, infused with upstate values that we know well. Grit, patriotism, kindness, and toughness, hard work, ingenuity, and humble appreciation for what we have been given. We have the most beautiful district in the country, the majestic Adirondacks, the pristine waters of the Thousand Islands or Lake George, the rolling hills of Washington County, at sunset, at the end of summer and early fall, the snowy trails like today, to the bountiful farms and apple trees. Our district tells the story of America. I love to call our district the cradle of the American Revolution. It's where brave patriots fought 250 years ago in the battles of Saratoga to turn the tide of the Revolutionary War. It's home to Lake Placid, where a team of amateur hockey players out-hustled, out-skated, and defeated the Soviet Union,
stunning the world and bringing the unforgettable Miracle on Ice. And today, as I mentioned, it's home to Fort Drum and the historic 10th Mountain Division, the most deployed division in the U.S. Army since 9/11. Our district, we are home to more veterans than any other district in New York State. Generation after generation have answered the call to serve here, fighting for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. But there is no question to me that by far the greatest part of our district is the people. And I will miss you all so much. I have loved working for you and have always tried to work my very hardest to represent you. I will never forget the trust you placed in me. Thank you for giving me the opportunity of a lifetime to serve and reminding me to always remember our upstate values. I am so grateful from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Congresswoman. We have one final presentation in today's program. I'd like to invite to the stage Town of Saratoga Supervisor Ian Murray and Town Historian Sean Kelleher, both of whom serve on the 250th Commission by Saratoga County, which the Congresswoman has also served on as well, and she mentioned in her remarks. Please unveil the presentation. So what we have here, ladies and gentlemen, is a photo taken last week at President Trump's inauguration in the Capitol Rotunda. The President is being sworn in by the Chief Justice, the Congresswoman, and all of the high-ranking staff is in the background, and it is overseen by one of the most famous paintings in United States history, the surrender of General Burgoyne at the Battles of Saratoga. This took place only a couple miles from where we stand today. So this is real American history. Congresswoman, we are, on behalf of the Saratoga County, the 250th Commission, all your friends, and really the entire crowd here today. This is a small token of appreciation for all you've done for us. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm so grateful. Thank you. Thank you, Steve.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.
So bright on it. You're on the stage.